Welcome into No One Asked Us. We are recording this on Monday evening, November 28th. Craig again is on location. We'll get into his weekend here soon. I am not on location. I am in my normal spot. I'm not wearing my Santa Claus hat behind me. But that is neither here nor there. This is No One Asked Us. As I said, he is Craig. I am Logan. As always, before we get started, give us a follow on all of our social media. We're still on Twitter. No One Asked Us Pod. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at B. Logan Lee. We're on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Like, share, and subscribe. Looking to continue to grow these numbers on our YouTube page especially. So wherever you're listening to this show at, head over to our YouTube page and drop a like and a subscribe on there. Really help us out there. We did not do an Illini post-game show after the game on Friday over the holiday weekend. So we will recap that game. We are planning to do something, hopefully, after the Syracuse game tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I know Craig will be traveling again, so we'll see how the timing works out. It will definitely not be a live show right after the game. This will probably be something that we record later in post for everyone to consume probably on their Wednesday morning. But either way, we're planning to do that, and then we'll just kind of see how the next few weekends go. Combination of both of us are going to be on the road at various times, and that's what the winter and the holiday seasons are for. So a lot of traveling. Speaking of traveling, Craig, how are you? We did this show from your car last Monday. Now you are in a different location, a different office. You good? Everything all right? You've had a busy weekend.
Good. It has been a crazy week. Yeah. A little bit of everything with Thanksgiving and an engagement party that the future in-laws threw for us, and then spontaneous trip to Evanston, and yeah, it's been nonstop, absolutely nonstop for about 4 or 5 days. Yeah.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Craig?
It was great. It was good.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
How about you?
It was great. It was great. Didn't really do a lot. Hosted here with some of Allison's family, and then just kind of sat around the house for 3 days after that. So it was pretty nice.
You're in the hosting rotation, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Couple years ago we did Thanksgiving. Again, it's her family. It's a small group. We only had about 6 people. And then we also hosted Christmas for her family last year.
Wow.
Yeah, we're in the hosting
I guess that's what
rotation.
happens when you own a home, right?
It definitely, yeah, it helps. It definitely helps. But no, things are good. Had a good weekend up here. Got to spend some time with some friends and do some things and watch a lot of football and had a good time. But happy belated Thanksgiving to all those that celebrate. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And we are back at it. So let's go ahead and get started into this thing. We'll start with football, I think.
Yeah.
Normally, I would like to start with basketball at this point in the year, but I think football is of note, especially now with the way games played out on Friday or on Saturday and now leading into conference championship week this coming weekend. So the Illini football team went to Northwestern on Saturday. Craig was there. Craig was our reporter in Evanston. We'll get his take on the situation here shortly, but the Illini take down Northwestern 41-3. It was never really in doubt. It was a blowout from the moment the ball was kicked. Tommy DeVito, 12 for 18 in the air, 136 yards, 1 interception. He did run for a touchdown, no touchdown passes. Reggie Love and Chase Brown each scored a touchdown on the ground. But the big game belonged to Chase's brother, Sidney, who scored 2 touchdowns in the game, one on a fumble recovery and one on a pick six. He was then named the Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week for his efforts. And as I said, that game was never at all in doubt for the Illini. Picking up their 8th win on the year. Craig, you were there to see it. How was it? What was it like?
Where do you want me to start?
Well, when was the last Illinois football game you were at? Did you go to any this year?
I went last year. No,
okay.
I went to, I believe, the first 3 last year. Nebraska, UTSA, and Maryland. So I saw those 3, but we just touched on this maybe a month ago. I don't know that I had ever went to an Illinois game as a fan, as a visiting fan.
Mm-hmm.
It had always been at Illinois, or I was covering Illinois in an opponent's arena. So this was my first. Well, I don't even count it as a visiting fan because there was more orange than there was purple. So I still have never been a visiting fan. That place is just a dump. It's terrible.
I'm sure tickets were hard to get to.
Oh, I scrounged out the money and had the worst seats in the house. No, I bought them like the morning of the game, front row in the end zone. I was legitimately front row in the horseshoe end zone. Now, they weren't great seats because it's like a walkway in front of you. So there were people walking in front of us, and multiple times people stopped right in front of us, and I had to say, "Hey, keep moving." So not great seats, but it was good. It was good. It was, we had known we're going to be up here for weeks now, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. Let me keep an eye on ticket prices and weather." And the second of those was a lot more important than the first, because if it was going to be raining, I was not going to sit lakeside next to Lake Michigan in 30 degrees and rain. But it was a pretty good day. It got chilly when the sun went down, but like you said, it was a beat down. And the offense didn't even play necessarily well. Honestly, I would say the offense played pretty bad. They didn't really do much except for one long Reggie Love run and a 45-yard Chase Brown catch. I mean, Chase had 61 yards, but it was on like 20 carries. He couldn't find any holes. I think both offensive and, well, maybe not defensive line. I think our offensive line got beat quite a bit. Northwestern was really controlling that line of scrimmage. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, everyone around us was Illinois fans. So in big play, we were all celebrating the same things. The guy next to me had the Indiana Purdue game streaming on his phone. So we were able to keep up with that. Not long after halftime, Christy was like, "Okay, we can go." I was like, "Hold on," because if Indiana does beat Purdue, Illinois is going to have a big celebration out here, and I want to be here for that. And then Purdue went up by 2 touchdowns, I think, in the fourth. And I was like, "All right, let's go." So it was good, though. It was good. Hadn't been in a football game all season, so it was fun to go. Well, I guess I went to a Louisville game, but yeah.
Are you planning to go to a bowl game?
I don't think so. There were a couple that we talked about, but it's just a lot of traveling. I think we pretty much already have our Christmas week plans set, so that would involve ditching one of our families and going down there. And if I had to say right now, I would say no, it's not going to happen unless they get Music City and it can be like a day trip. Like if we're already in Southern Illinois and it's in Nashville, we just go there. But then we have the dogs, so we can't really do that. So I don't think it's going to work out, but I wish.
Okay. Well, the Illini will be playing a bowl game this year. The Northwestern win was their 8th win of the season, which
not
is
only a bowl game, a good bowl game.
Yeah, it'll be a good bowl game against probably a
SEC school.
SEC school. 8 wins for the Illini. For the first time they've had that many wins since 2007. That year they finished the year 9-4 with the would have been a bowl game win, I assume.
No, that was the Rose Bowl.
Oh, that was the Rose Bowl year. Yep, you're right.
9-3 and got blown out in the Rose Bowl.
So yeah, they could still pick up their 9th win this year in a bowl game. We'll have to see who they end up getting. I know there've been a few different projections out there, but
speaking of, I got some. Do we want to talk about that now?
Sure, let's go ahead. What are the bowl game scenarios you think that are most likely for the Illini?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 different outlets here that I have seen since Saturday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different outlets. ESPN does 2 different guys, so 8 different outlets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 9 have Illinois at the ReliaQuest Bowl, January 2nd in Tampa. 24/7 Sports is the only one with Music City Bowl versus Kentucky. That's December 31st in Nashville. And Pro Football Network, which that's the one that had Illinois in the Rose Bowl a couple weeks ago. So I don't take this one for much merit. They have Illinois at the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix. So I wouldn't listen to that one.
I wouldn't either. I mean, I don't think that Rose Bowl scenario a couple weeks ago was far off. I mean, I don't think you can really
No, I don't
discredit
either.
that. If
I don't. Yeah,
both Michigan and Ohio State make the playoff, which is certainly still on the table, and Illinois was the
yeah,
West Division champion, then I think a Rose Bowl appearance was very much still in play. And I think
yeah.
that was very much still in play up until Purdue beat Indiana.
The guaranteed rate bowl though is if you don't count the college football playoff, there will be one Big Ten team likely in the college football playoff. The tiers go Rose Bowl, Citrus Bowl, ReliaQuest, Music City, Bad Boy Mowers, then guaranteed rate. That's the sixth bowl, and I don't think Illinois is going to get the sixth spot for Big Ten. So I would not listen to this Pro Football Network. I have not seen The Athletic or USA Today's. Those are the only two. But everyone has a ReliaQuest Bowl. One of them has Florida, and it's all against different people. One of them is Florida, one of them South Carolina, one of them's Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, another South Carolina, and Mississippi State. So SEC's got to figure their stuff out. But Illinois is pretty much penciled into the ReliaQuest, which if it was a different Florida one, I would be more likely to go if it was in Orlando. But it sounds like Tampa.
Of those teams, who do you want to see?
Arkansas. BLM versus Arkansas. How awesome would that be?
Yeah. That would be fun. That'd be fun.
That's who I would want.
I could see that. Yeah, we'll know more obviously here in another week or so after the championship games are played.
I think all of them come out the 4th, right? I think they all come out the
4th. Yeah, the championship week's coming up, so we'll get to all that here shortly. Other Illinois thing of note this week, Ryan Walters was named the Broyles Award finalist for the best assistant coach in college football. I believe he's one of 4 finalists for that. 5 finalists. I think I saw 4 names, but kind of a duh thing. I mean, he's been the guy. A lot of talk about him potentially leaving. I know there's an opening at his alma mater, Colorado. We'll have to see. I think if he takes that job, you know, happy for him in that situation. Would hate to see lose him to just about any other job that's not a Power 5. If he's taking a Power 5 head coaching job, great. Happy for you. Anything else though, you can't lose him. He's certainly been the strength of this coaching staff this season. That defense has been tremendous. So he all deserved to be in that recognition. We'll see if he comes out victorious as the winner of that award, but to be one of the 5 finalists is a pretty big deal for him.
He's there's only 2 defensive coordinators, so one of 2 defensive coaches as finalists. The other 3 are offensive guys. So he's the top 2 defensive coordinator in the country, which is outstanding.
Yeah.
But did you see who Colorado offered their job to?
Yeah, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take it, Deion. Have at it. Don't exactly see Deion being a fit at Colorado.
But. No. Deion's name has been thrown around for a lot of coaching positions, which we'll touch on here shortly, because a lot happened in the coaching world in the last 24 hours. But we will get to that here soon. Just to recap the rest of the day in the Big Ten, the Friday game, kind of a shocker, I guess. Nebraska took down Iowa by a touchdown or so, 24-17. Yeah, 7 points. We talked about Illinois Northwestern. The big game. We can talk about it here too. Michigan over Ohio State 45-23. Penn State over Michigan State 35-16. Maryland shut out Rutgers 37-0. Minnesota over Wisconsin 23-16. And then the game that Craig mentioned was important for the Illini if they were going to win the Big Ten West title. Unfortunately, it did not happen, and Purdue beat Indiana 30-16. And then this week, obviously, we're in championship week, so it's Michigan and Purdue in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game on Saturday. Did you catch any of that Michigan Ohio State game? Yes.
First half. I saw the first half. Might be a stupid question, but it might be more of a rhetorical question.
I love stupid
Would you
questions.
rather have Indiana have beaten Purdue and Illinois gone to Indianapolis and lost by 40, or end the season with the blowout win over Northwestern, going to a bowl game and not having to get blown out by 40 against Michigan?
I mean, I think just getting to a Big Ten championship would have been pretty cool.
I
I
think
think
so
I would
too.
take that. I don't think they get blown out by 40.
No,
In fact, they played Michigan pretty tightly a couple weeks ago. Not that I think that that'll happen again. But I think I would take it just to get there. Illinois,
it's like
since the existence in the time that the Big Ten championship game has existed, Illinois has never played in it.
yeah,
So not that I
it's
thought
like
they were super deserving of it, but I would have loved to have seen it.
it's like the would you rather get upset in the first round of the NCAA or win the NIT? It's like
Yeah.
that kind of question. I'd rather go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of ifs and buts about this season. I can't help but look back. I know there's been a lot of calls and a lot of things that haven't gone Illinois' way, but there was one
how about
particular
Bielema on
call.
Twitter?
Brett Bielema has been a little fiery. I still go back to the one particular call against Indiana. Here we were needing Indiana to beat Purdue, but all Illinois needed to do was beat Indiana in week 2 or whatever it was. And there was that one bad call. What?
No, because if Illinois beats Indiana, Purdue and Illinois are both 6-3, and Purdue has the tiebreak.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, that's a good point. I didn't
But
think.
I get what you're saying.
Either way, yeah, just a few things could have gone differently, but Illinois also lost 3 games in a row towards the back end of the season, and 2 of them they probably shouldn't have lost. So
should have mentioned this earlier. Should have led the show with this because hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to Bielema, but lost his father-in-law a week after losing his mother and still coaching. I mean, that guy has been through some stuff, and I just can't imagine. That's all. I mean, just thoughts and prayers to him, and can't imagine going through what he's gone through the last 2 weeks and still coaching both of those games. And I'm sure Saturday meant a lot to him. I haven't been able to watch the press conference, but I'm sure he got emotional because people were asking about it and stuff. But I did see one thing that they went to his father-in-law's office to get his things and clean it out.
I saw this.
And there was a Post-it note on his father-in-law's desk, said Big Ten Network 3:30, watch Brett. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, he's not been a good couple weeks for him and his family. Just devastating what they've gone through. And as you said, he's continuing to coach this team. So obviously I know his players appreciate that and love the support that he's given them. But that's tough. That's a lot. You want to do power rankings? Have you done power rankings?
Real quick.
This will be our final.
Like an hour ago.
Are we? Is this our final power rankings of the season?
Well, I guess we'll do
another
one
next week.
I guess we'll do one after bowl season. I don't know. We'll see. I think we said the same thing last year and we didn't do one.
All right. I had a lot of movement. I'll be honest.
I changed a couple things.
I had more movement this week than I probably have in a couple weeks. All right, give me your 14 through 12.
Northwestern and Rutgers. I believe they stay the same. Yeah, they stay the same. And Indiana down 2. When you can't help out a brother when he needs help, you're going to you're dropping 2 spots.
Yeah, I have the exact same. Northwestern and Rutgers staying put, and Indiana moving down 2 to number 12. All right, give me your 11 through 9.
Michigan State up 1, Nebraska up 1. Both of them. Well, Michigan State lost, but they still jump 1. Nebraska beating Iowa up to 10, and Maryland stays at 9.
I have Michigan State staying at 11, where I had them last week. Nebraska also at 10, but I have them moving up 2 spots to get there. And then I have Wisconsin at 9, moving down a spot. All right, 8 through 6.
Wisconsin there for me stays the same. I forgot what was their result this week. Did they lose?
Wisconsin lost to Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay, but they stay the same. I dropped Iowa down 3 spots. I had them at 4. I dropped them to 7. And Minnesota, I dropped 1 spot. Even though they won, I dropped them 1 spot to 6.
Okay. Yep. I have Maryland at 8. Reverse of you with Maryland and Wisconsin, moving them up a spot to get there. I also moved Iowa down 3 spots to number 7. And then I moved Illinois up a spot. They were in 7. They were at 7 last week. I have them up at 6 now. Yeah. So they're Maryland, Iowa, and Illinois is my 8 through 6. All right. Give me 5 and give me 5, 4, 3.
Yeah. I could have just left it the same because Minnesota and Illinois both did win, but I did jump Illinois over Minnesota for some reason. I guess the being there, seeing it happen. Illinois at 5, and then Purdue at 4. I mean, they won the West. They beat Illinois, so I got Purdue at 4 and Penn State at 3.
Yep, Minnesota 5 for me, but I agree it could be either Minnesota or Illinois. Purdue obviously at 4. They're playing for the Big Ten championship game, so
Yep.
you have to put them there. And then Penn State stays at 3, and then had to have switched your top 2.
Yep.
First time all season.
Yep.
I think we both had Ohio State 1 and Michigan 2 all season long, and now after what went down in Columbus on Saturday, I imagine we both switched.
We did.
Michigan 1 and now Ohio State 2. So did you catch? You caught the first half of that game? At that point, it was like tied at halftime, I think, right? The wheels didn't fall off the wagon until the second half for Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it got ugly because it was still a good game, but it was. I was surprised. I did not think Ohio State would fall apart that badly. They were just outcoached. They were outplayed
without Blake Corum. Michigan didn't have Corum.
I know.
I mean, he tried to play, but he had like one snap, one carry. I watched the first half. We left at halftime, and it's like 45 minutes to Evanston from here. So by the time we got up there, it was close to, if not already, the fourth quarter. And I was checking the scores, and it was close. And then right before kickoff for Illinois, I checked, it was like a 20-point game. I'm like, holy crap. And I was in Columbus. I didn't think there was any way. I mean, I obviously lost some money on that. But I don't know if I lost double or not. I can't remember if I had the over or the under, but it was a bad college football weekend for the pocketbook.
And doing well and for your picks. We'll get to that later, though.
That too.
Wow. All right. We kind of hinted at the Big Ten coaching changes. It was kind of a crazy day yesterday. 2 massive moves in the Big Ten. The first one was Matt Rule, as many suspected, coming back to the college game, heading to Nebraska. So the Big Ten got a little tougher then. And then madness kind of ensued. I think that was the order that it happened. I think he was first, and then the Luke Fickell announcement came out.
Yeah.
But now Luke Fickell's headed to Wisconsin. So if the Big Ten wasn't tough enough, the Big Ten West in particular wasn't tough enough, it just got a heck of a lot tougher. And then you throw in USC and UCLA into the mix. The Big Ten's a different animal. Going to be a different animal next year. Those are 2 huge hires, 2 great hires, I think, if you ask me. Luke Fickell especially. He's been one of the top names to take a big job the past few years. He's turned down some jobs in the past. I haven't read up on the situation. I'm not exactly sure why he ultimately agreed to take the Wisconsin job while he has also passed on some other jobs. But he did what he did, and good for him. Wisconsin's that's a good job. They've not had a great season. They haven't had a bad season necessarily, but it has not gone the way that many thought it would. And he's finally joining the ranks in the Power 5. So good for him. Good for both those coaches. It's going to be a heck of a lot tougher in the Big Ten, with those names joining the coaching ranks. You shocked?
Let's just say Jim Leonard and Lance Leipold would have been a lot better.
As an Illinois fan, yes.
As an Illinois fan, yeah. I honestly am surprised that Wisconsin's the one that got Fickell to jump and leave Cincinnati. I'm somewhere between shocked and stunned. I did not think this would be the one. I mean, after Saturday, and this just shows the Ohio State fan base, they were calling for Day to be fired and Fickell to be replacing Ryan Day at Ohio State, because it's 2 years in a row that Ryan Day has lost to Michigan.
Yeah, those people need to just
asinine. Get those off.
Do you think this is a timing thing? Do you think either he
Probably.
knows what he's has at Ohio State in the wings, or at Cincinnati waiting in the wings? Do you think? I mean, they're at least moving to a new version of a Power Five,
Yeah.
with the Big 12. But I mean, now he's gonna get a he's gonna get a lot more chances to prove himself in the Big 10. It's already, one of the two best conferences in the country, and now you're also adding two top 15 teams from this year are going to be in the mix next year. So I don't know. Maybe it's a timing thing. Maybe he just felt like this was the time he needed to do it, regardless of what the jobs were. Ohio State wasn't going to become open. I know that there are some fans that want that to happen, but Jesus Christ, people, get a grip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it might just be a timing thing. I think he might just realize that this is the job, and maybe Wisconsin wasn't the job he wanted, but I mean, that's a good job, and he can do a lot
Yeah.
of good things. That's a good program, and it's a good opportunity for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's been the name for the last 3 or 4 off seasons that um, everyone wanted, but he wouldn't leave. And yeah, I think Cincinnati's probably falling off after last year. I mean, they're the only way they could go was down, and
Right.
now they're joining the Big 12, and he's losing probably a lot of talent, and so he saw Wisconsin as a great way out. So yeah, it makes a ton of sense for him. It's scary for the Big Ten West. Now Matt Rule, I think jury's still out on him. I mean, yeah, he turned some things around. Have you looked at his career records?
I mean, I've looked at all of his stops. I don't know that I necessarily looked at his
He
record.
he was only at Baylor, I think, for 3 years or something like that. And yeah, he
47 and
turned them.
43 as a head coach in the NCAA.
I mean, his first year in Baylor, they won 1 game, and then his third, they won 10. So yeah, that's a quick turnaround. But he hasn't sustained anything, and he flamed out so hard in Carolina. I don't know. I think it's a good hire. I think that's something you definitely take a chance if you can get Matt Rule, because he proved to be a good college coach. But
Yeah.
the longevity of it, I'm not so sure of. I'm not. I would give Fickle. I would give Fickle and Wisconsin. I would give Wisconsin probably an A+ for getting Luke Fickle. I would give Nebraska probably a B+, A- for Rule. I don't think. I think that's the lesser of the two.
Oh, I agree. It's definitely the lesser of the two. I don't know that I don't know. I mean, I don't know who they were going to lure away from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was a name that was out there. He's had a good enough track
Yeah.
record. I mean, we'll just have to see. Nebraska is not the program it used to be. I know some of their fans think it is, but it's just not. And that's just where we're at. So,
Yeah.
either way, two good hires for the Big Ten. Big Ten gets a little bit tougher now, with a couple good coaches, especially the Fickle thing. I think that
Yeah.
gonna make things a lot more difficult.
I mean, that's another thing is he was already winning recruiting battles against Illinois at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I know one of them just decommitted from him, Malik Elsley, but his recruiting has been pretty good at Cincinnati. So the resources Wisconsin gives him will probably make him a little bit better on the recruiting trip.
There was one other big coaching move announcement today that's not Big Ten related, but Hugh Freeze is headed back to the SEC, and he's going to Auburn. Hugh Freeze, who has a very what's the word I'm looking for?
Controversial.
Controversial history would be a good way to describe it. Was at Ole Miss for a few seasons, and things did not go well for him there. We'll just to put it lightly. He's been at Liberty for the last 2 or 3 seasons, I think. Auburn had an opening. I mean, he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. But he tends to bring some stuff with him, but it's very fitting because who their basketball coach is at Auburn. So
That was my first question. Think about who their basketball coach is.
They don't seem to care. All they want to do is
They
beat
do not
Alabama.
care.
So if he can help them beat Alabama once every 2 or 3 years, then they'll be fine. But yeah, that was the other big news that happened today.
Do you know where he got his start like his first coaching job, Hugh Freeze.
He was Michael Orr's coach in high
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
I saw that earlier. Yeah.
You didn't know that till today?
No, I don't. Well, I
Yeah.
might have known it at some point, but it's not something I thought about. But yes, he was Michael Orr's head coach
The
in high
blind
school.
side.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. So he's headed back to the SEC. He's going to be at Auburn. I think, is that every major coaching? I mean, Georgia Tech is still
Georgia
open.
Tech, Colorado.
Colorado. But I mean, the Auburn, Wisconsin, and Nebraska were the three biggest marquee positions that were open, correct? I guess you can count Nebraska as marquee more so than Colorado and Georgia Tech.
I think that's Stanford now.
Oh, that's true. Yes, Stanford, who apparently now
David Shaw resigned.
Pac-12 doesn't have any black head coaches. I think I saw something like that. Is that true? Yeah.
Arizona State hired theirs, so there's that one's gone.
All right. So after rivalry week, college football, we head into championship week. Conference championships start Friday. You know what? A lot of them are important, but there's not really a big marquee matchup here. And I guess this is because of divisions. I mean, I guess that's what's keeping from, us getting a Ohio State Michigan rematch or, whatever.
See, I had this thought last week. I think it was before the games even. The thought of divisions popped in my head. Would we? I mean, I guess we would because the game is so big. But like, if there were no divisions, we would have Michigan State, or we would have Michigan, Ohio State back-to-back weeks.
Probably.
I don't know that I like that.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I'm with you, but I mean that's just kind of the world we live in. But I mean, some of these, I mean, they're ranked matchups. Don't get me wrong, but it's, I don't know. It's just kind of, it is what it is. Friday's Utah USC. Saturday, the noon game is Kansas State TCU. 4:00 LSU Georgia. UCF and Tulane play for the American Championship, and then the Big Ten we talked about, Purdue and Michigan, and then Clemson and North Carolina for the ACC title. We'll do those in pick your pick here coming up. But anything that sticks out there, any matchup in particular that you're jazzed to see?
I like the Pac-12 and the Big 12. I like those two. I've liked Kansas State for pretty much all year. I think I said it preseason, and I know he's been hurt, but like I said, watch Adrian Martinez go to Kansas State and just tear it up. And I know he's been hurt the last month, I believe. But Kansas State's very good. I don't know that they beat TCU, but they'll be very close. It'll be a close game, I believe. TCU is just a wagon right now. I mean, Utah beat USC as their only loss of the year, so they're going to have revenge and a college football playoff berth on their mind. The other ones don't really do it for me. Clemson and North Carolina both have really fallen, both coming off of losses, I believe. North Carolina lost last week. And then, SEC and Big Ten are blowouts waiting to happen. Maybe not SEC. LSU's decent, but they did lose recently. So, no, I'm with you. It's kind of a lackluster championship weekend, but it is championship weekend, and I'm going to be glued to my TV and enjoy every second of it.
Two of these games are rematches, as you mentioned. USC, their only loss this season was a 1-point loss to Utah. It was an absolute shootout. And then TCU beat Kansas State earlier this year by about 10, I think.
Kansas State was winning that game. That's the game that Martinez got hurt.
Yeah. Yep. But the others, Georgia, LSU haven't played each other. Purdue, Michigan haven't played each other, and Clemson, North Carolina haven't played each other. So, we'll do those and pick your pick here shortly. Playoff scenarios. We haven't seen the college football playoff ranking yet. That'll come out on Tuesday, of course, as they do every week. I mean, I think you're looking at Georgia or Michigan 1-2. TCU is going to be your 3. It should be USC 4. I think it will be USC 4. I think as long as those 4 teams win, they're in. What it should be. Again, what it should be. We'll see if the committee does that or not. But those 4 teams, they win this week, they're in. I think Georgia and Michigan can both lose and still get in. I want to think TCU can lose and still get in, assuming they don't get blown out. USC, I don't know if that's the case. As much as I want to see USC in, I don't think they will. I think they would put in a 1-loss Ohio State over USC in that scenario. And then there's Alabama that's still hanging around and people are still talking about them. I don't envision a scenario in which Alabama gets in. I think it's one of those 5 teams, or it'll be 4 of those 5 teams that get in, basically. Depends on who wins the conference championship games. But yeah, I think it's just down to 5. Clemson eliminated themselves. LSU eliminated themselves. Alabama's technically still hanging around, but I don't really see that.
Who are Alabama's losses? LSU and Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's 2 top 10 losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to see Alabama in the playoff. I think it's those 5 teams. I guess you could make an argument if TCU and USC both lose.
Yep.
Potentially opens the door for Alabama. I don't want to see it. I'd rather see TCU and USC in there regardless, but I don't think that's how it'll play out. So, just down to those 5 teams. I would
say if TCU and USC lose, 1-loss TCU still gets in over 2-loss Alabama. I would think.
And Ohio State would be the 4th.
Yeah.
In that scenario. Yeah. If USC loses,
only 1 SEC.
Huh?
2 Big Ten teams and 1 SEC.
Yeah.
That's a first.
It's unfortunate though if USC loses twice to Utah, if those are both of their losses, but
yeah.
You got to compare that to Ohio State's 1 loss is to Michigan, who will be the 1 or 2 team. So all right, let's do pick your pick. Are we only going to do the 6 this week?
There are other conference on here.
I didn't. We were going to talk. I figured we would talk about it before the show started, and we didn't. So, do you want to do the rest of them too? Do you want to do 10?
Well, yeah, we need to have an even number.
Well, it is an even number now.
Right. I don't know how many other conferences there
are. There's more than 10. There's the MAC. There's Conference USA. Wait,
West.
That's not a championship game. The MAC, Conference USA, Sun Belt,
and MAC. So do we leave Conference USA out and do those 10? I say we do that. Leave Conference USA out.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, they would be included.
1, 2, 3.
There's only 10. There's 10 conferences.
Oh yeah, then do all the championships.
You're looking at probably the same thing I am. Akron and Buffalo are playing this week as a makeup, but that is not a championship game.
Yeah, let's just do.
We can do all of them.
Do all of them. Yep.
Okay, I wasn't prepared for that, but we'll do it anyway. Who's picking first this week?
I don't remember.
I do not.
I believe it's me. I think it's me.
You're picking first
because it has been the quote unquote host going first, and now you're hosting back to back. So I think it's me.
All right. Well, go ahead because I'm not ready.
All right. I am taking Michigan.
It's not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. Yeah. They're a pretty big favorite over Purdue. I don't really see a scenario in which Purdue wins that game. I think that's probably a safe pick. I will go with the other safe pick and take Georgia. LSU.
Huh? I started to say Michigan.
Either one. Yeah, those are the 2 biggest spreads. Those are LSU's better than Purdue. But I still don't really see them beating Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia's clearly one of the 2 best teams in the country, probably the best team in the country, and I think they will win that game. All right. Your next pick, where are you going to go?
I think I'm going to I'll go to the Fun Belt. I'll take Troy.
Troy.
I'll take Troy
Interesting.
to win the Fun Belt. I think Coastal's quarterback is out, so I'm gonna take Troy.
Okay. All right. I'm still making this up on the fly. So, let's go with. I'll go to Conference USA and I'll take UTSA.
That's the other one that I was going with.
I think that's fairly safe. They're 10-2. They haven't lost a game in conference play this year. I think they're the clear favorite there. I will take UTSA with my second pick.
All right. I don't think Utah beats USC twice. I think Caleb Williams wants the Heisman. He wants college football playoff berth. I'm gonna take the Trojans to win the Pac-12.
Okay. It's not bad. Not bad. All right. So who else do we got here? I have to even figure out what my other games are. So we're also doing the Mountain West, which is Fresno and Boise. This is great content.
I know. So prepared.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, those are my 10 games. Okay. Where am I gonna go for my next pick? Let's go with. You already took Troy. Okay. I'm going to head to the ACC. I'm going to take Clemson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Clemson is not what they once were, but North Carolina is not world beater either. I didn't really mention before we started this. I went 4-1 last week. Greg went 1-4. So we are now actually tied. We are tied statistically. I forgot to say this. I'm sorry. I probably should have led with this. We are both currently at 38 and 28 on the year. That's how you know you're doing it right. When the two of us still, we did this so that we would have different outcomes and things. And yet here we are still picking the exact same scores. So, okay. I picked Clemson for my third pick. What is your fourth pick?
We got the Big 12, the MAC, AAC, and Mountain West. It's tough, you know. This is a tough one. Give me the Horned Frogs. The term Team of Destiny has been thrown out quite a bit this year with them, and I think they might be. I think they'll get crushed in the maybe not crushed. I think they'll get beat in the college football playoff, but
okay.
I think they make it there.
All right. So Craig takes TCU. That leaves me with either the American Conference, the MAC, or the Mountain West. I'm gonna go with UCF in the American.
I like it.
I don't really have a reason as to why, but I'm going with UCF.
And I will go with I'll go with the Blue Turf. Blue Turf boys.
Boise State would be the Blue Turf boys. All right. And then that leaves me with Toledo or Ohio. I will take Toledo with my pick. And that will do it for us in Pick Your Pick. All right. Just to recap, Craig took USC, TCU, Michigan, Troy, and Boise State. Logan took Georgia, UCF, Clemson, UTSA, and Toledo. Nice work. Proud of you.
Can you send an email to our producer and remind him that we do have graphics that are supposed to be weekly posted that we're not posting over Thanksgiving?
I will get on him right now, or right immediately following. this show. All right, enough football talk. Basketball season. We had a heck of a week in college basketball, not particularly for Illinois. And they did have a win this week, but it was a wild and crazy week. We will talk about that here shortly. Illinois did play Friday night. We did not do a post-game show after the Lindenwood game. And I'm not really sure what we would have talked about. Illinois just smoked Lindenwood, 92-59. Sky Clark, 19 points for the freshman. RJ Melendez showed up. He had 17 points, 4 rebounds. Terrence Shannon, a ho-hum, 16 points for him. Matthew Meyer, nearly a double-double, 8 points and 9 rebounds. All of those numbers are great. Then there's Coleman Hawkins, who didn't score a point. Grabbed 5 rebounds and had 6 turnovers. So I know what the good is and I know what the bad is. We don't need to go over all of it. Did you watch this game?
First half.
Okay. Well, you didn't miss much. Yeah, this was a Big Ten Network Plus game. For those that are familiar with what that means.
So, cancel that subscription.
Yep. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you let me use it. Yeah. Illinois picks up the win on Friday night. They whatever. What's the record now? Is it 6-1? 5-1. With the win over Lindenwood, a game that was never really close and it shouldn't have been. So now we move on. Tuesday night, tomorrow night is the Big Ten ACC Challenge, the final Big Ten ACC Challenge. Yes, Craig is shedding a tear as we speak. I'm right there with you. I mean, this is something we kind of saw coming. Largely in part to the fact that ESPN, who puts the event on, is no longer going to be carrying the Big Ten for games. So they announced today that the ACC and the SEC will have a challenge instead. And the Big Ten may work out something with like the Pac-12 or the Big 12 or something, but we'll just have to see. But the Big Ten ACC challenge will be in its final year this week. There are 2 games that start tonight. On the men's side, there will be women's games as well. But on the men's side, Minnesota and Virginia Tech play tonight, as well as Pitt and Northwestern. And then Illinois is one of the games tomorrow night. They host Syracuse. The Syracuse Orange come to Champaign-Urbana, a kind of tumultuous Syracuse Orange team. They've had some on/off court issues the past few days. So they're not going to have a full roster when they come to Champaign. But Tuesday night in Champaign at the State Farm Center, 6:30 tip-off Central Time, 7:30 for us in the East on ESPN, Illinois and Syracuse. A lot of orange in State Farm Center. Illinois played Virginia earlier this year, who is orange and blue, and now they're playing Syracuse. Then let's have Texas coming up next week. A lot of orange on the non-con schedule. Yes, Craig.
Stripe out.
It is a stripe out. Yes, if you're going to the game, make sure you
odd
are
number
prepared.
Sections wear orange, even wear blue.
Sure, you're prepared on what color you should be wearing, so they can stripe out the State Farm Center. But yeah, that is Tuesday night. Other Big Ten ACC Challenge games of note. Not a lot. Tuesday, Virginia goes to Michigan. That's the late game on ESPN. The other games are kind of so on Tuesday. Wednesday, Ohio State goes to Duke. Purdue, red hot Purdue Boilermakers go to Florida State. That is no longer a close game. North Carolina and Indiana. Michigan State comes here to South Bend, plays Notre Dame. Plus others. That's the.
Do you know which conference has won more challenges?
No, I don't have that information in front of me now.
One conference is 12-8-3. Which one do you think it is?
ACC.
Yeah, ACC won the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row.
For as long as the Big Ten ACC Challenge has been around, the ACC has been the conference in college basketball. The predominant North Carolina Duke situation. So that does
ACC started 10-0. Since then, they're 2-8-3. Yeah. Illinois is 10-13 in their 23 appearances.
Well, Illinois should pick up they should pick up a win tomorrow night, and I'm not promising that, and I'm not guaranteeing that, and I'm not even predicting that, but they should pick up a win against Syracuse. Syracuse is not quite the team Illinois is, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to see which Illinois team shows up, and who shows up on that team.
The zone worries me a little bit with this team, because how do you beat a zone? You shoot your way out of the zone, and this
they don't have a lot of shooters.
Not the best shooters.
No. They do have shooters.
You can also beat a zone by beating the zone down the floor and not letting it get set up, which has to be this team's priority number one.
Yeah. 6:30 tip-off in Champaign, 7:30 Eastern time, Illinois, Syracuse, Tuesday night. We will, as I said, hopefully have some sort of post-game show for you guys. Not sure when that'll be. I don't anticipate it to be a live show, but we will hope to have something after the game to recap that. After that, Illinois goes to Maryland on Friday night. It'll be their first game on the Big Ten schedule. That game is at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock out East.
It's a ranked game.
It is a ranked game. Yes, Maryland is now in the top 25, coming in at number 22. They're currently 6-0. They have wins
they played,
over
though?
Nobody of note. Miami, Niagara, Western Carolina, Binghamton, St. Louis, Miami, and Coppin State. So not really a lot there to consider, but they're still undefeated and they're in the top 25. They go to Louisville down in Craig's neck of the woods for
same time
their Big Ten ACC Challenge game tomorrow.
Which Louisville is epitome of dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's a mess. AP poll came out today. Houston's the new number one after North Carolina took a they plummeted. Just put it lightly. Houston won, Texas 2, who is a future Illinois opponent. Illinois sees them next week. Virginia's 3, who is a former Illinois opponent. Big Ten teams of note, Purdue moved all the way up to number 5 after what they did out in Portland. Indiana's 10, Illinois 16 in the poll. Didn't move, I don't think, at all this week. Michigan State 20, Maryland, as we mentioned, is 22, and Ohio State cracks the top 25 at 25. It was a crazy week out in college football or college basketball, particularly out in Portland. The Phil Knight Invitational and the Phil Knight Legacy and all
what's the difference there?
There's a lot. I have a lot of questions and comments and things about that tournament. Whatever. What a week. Purdue takes wins one of the tournaments. They beat Duke in the process. They beat Gonzaga. I don't know, man. There was just, I'm not sure what's all going on out there. But I saw people were complaining. I think it was Jeff Goodman was complaining about the lack of attendance at the game last night between North Carolina and Arkansas, I think, whoever it was. And my thoughts are like,
very full.
This is a Sunday night of a holiday weekend featuring two teams from like the other side of the country. Like, I don't know. Like, I like these tournaments. I think that tournament's a great idea, but do we really need to be playing the championship game on Sunday? Like, that just seems like a bad idea, but whatever. It was a crazy week. Purdue shot all the way up to the top 5. What the exercise that I was going to do on the show, I don't really want to do it now just because we're already kind of running low on time, but the thought was buy or sell with some of these early Big Ten teams. So like right now, buy or sell Purdue. Are you buying this red hot start where they've beaten let's see, let me pull up Purdue's schedule here real quick. Purdue is 6-0. They have wins over Milwaukee, Austin Peay, Marquette, West Virginia, and then out in Portland, they beat Gonzaga and Duke. Are you buying or selling Purdue at 6-0 to start the season?
At the current price, number 5 in the country, sell all day.
Yeah, I'm not sold. I'm just not. I mean, Zach Edey's great, but I don't know. I mean, Gonzaga and Duke were both top 5 wins, I assume, at the time. But like, I don't know. I can't see them as a Final Four contender. I just don't.
No. I mean, there were voters that had a number 1 in the country today, and that's just overreaction like, I don't know, way too much overreaction.
Indiana is 6-0 to start the season, but they've played nobody. They did not
And
play
Trace Jackson Davis is hurt.
any tournament. Yes, Trace Jackson Davis is hurt. They have not played anybody. They did not play in any MTE. Their best win at this point is at Xavier by 2 points, which Xavier is a good program, but I wouldn't call it a great win this year. They do host North Carolina here in the Big Ten ACC Challenge coming up this week, so that'll be their first real true test. But as I said, they're number 10. Michigan State kind of started off really well. They've slowed down a little bit here. Let's see, where are they at?
20.
Well, they lost to Alabama, and then so they beat Gonzaga, and then, Kentucky, and Villanova, then lost to Alabama by 11 points, and then beat Oregon and Portland.
Barely beat Portland.
Yeah, by 1 point. So
yeah,
we'll just have to see. All right, we're about ready to wind this thing down. Anything? Yep. We'll go baseball. The only baseball thing of note, really, Jose Abreu signed with the Houston Astros today on a 3-year deal. Most importantly, he didn't sign with the Cubs, so I'm not sure what the Cubs are going to do. But good for him for getting 3 years. I don't think that was what it took for him to go to Houston. So the Cubs nor anybody else really were wanting to give him 3 years. So good for him for getting that. The Cubs will still be looking for impact bats. I don't think he was on the Cardinals' radar at all, but he was certainly somebody the Cubs were trying to bring in, or at least Cub fans wanted them to bring in. But either way, he's going to Houston. World Cup update. I have not watched a ton. I know U.S. is where are we at? The 1 draw and 1 loss.
2 draws.
2 draws. Yes, that's right. Wales and
last Monday, Wales felt like a loss. Yep, you should have won that one.
That's a good point. Yes.
Mike Clevenger signed with the White Sox.
Yes, I forgot about that. Mike Clevenger.
Decent signing. Yeah, I mean, we're at win and you're in for the U.S. Or you're not going to cut me off when I start talking World Cup this time, are you?
No, we have plenty of time.
Okay.
Sorry.
Win and you're in for the U.S. I mean, it's simple as that. I think there's a lot of positive vibes around the U.S. right now after the way they played against England on Friday. Very easily could have won that game. I think they outplayed England on Friday. Yeah, it's just it's going to suck when it comes down to a stupid penalty from your first game that cost you a appearance in the round of 16. But I mean, USA is ranked higher than Iran. They're probably a better team than Iran. It's just at the World Cup, you never know what could happen. I mean, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. There was another huge upset. What was the other huge upset? Oh, wasn't Spain? Wasn't France? Germany? I think Germany lost their first game.
Yes,
maybe
they did.
And a huge upset to someone. So yeah, I mean, anything can happen. I keep saying Illinois. USA is a better team. You just got to come out and you got to win. A draw will do no good because Iran and England will go through. You got to get a win. I mean, US only scored 1 goal so far in 180 minutes. So got to find something from somewhere.
Yeah. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm with you. Anything can happen in that tournament. So yeah, hopefully they can do what they got to do. Anything else from you, Craig? You want to complain about your fantasy football team or
I am out of the playoffs already in 4 of my 5. And in the other one, right before the buzzer sounded last Monday, made a nice little trade for Josh Jacobs.
Congratulations.
So that turned out to be pretty nice. Although I didn't need him this week because I'm beating the dude by 100 points. He's tanking, but yeah, this league I got a pretty damn good team. Jalen Hurts. I have Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Zeke, Najee Harris, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jefferson. Tight end is my weak spot because I had Zach Ertz and I had Kyle Pitts, and both of them are on the IR. Although Kyle Pitts has been pretty bad all season, but Ertz was a big loss. So I'm trying to fill the tight end spot, but everywhere else, I'm pretty solid with that roster.
All right. That's wonderful. I'm really happy for you. I've had an abysmal fantasy football season. One team is doing well enough and will make the playoffs because the rest of my division is pretty bad, but it's not been going well for me. So, all right. I think that's going to do it. Oh, anything else from you? Anything else in your world? Any updates?
Do you know something I don't?
No.
Because I don't think
I know nothing.
I don't think so. No. We were trying to find a time to go to Black Panther, but it didn't work this week. We were going to take the nieces and nephews, but we couldn't figure out a day to get
Great
us all
movie.
together.
Get there.
Yeah.
I went and saw The Fabelmans over the weekend. It's the one movie I did get to, and it's excellent. I will predict it now. It'll win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Book it. The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg. It's very good. I think that's going to be it.
Let's go home.
Let's go home. You can't go home. You're still 5 hours away from home. I am home, and I'm going to edit a podcast after we get off here. All right, that's going to be it for this episode of No One Asked Us. As always, like, share, subscribe. Give us a follow on all of our social media at No One Asked Us Pod, at Craig W. Choate, at The Logan Lee. Until next time, which will hopefully be Tuesday night tomorrow. We'll see you then. 27 days till Christmas. Bye.
Oh, here we go.